And a very warm welcome if you've joined me on my channel, Nigel's View on Things. Hey Dean, how you keeping? Hope everybody's safe and sound where you are. I've been over the past 3 or 4 videos talking about red skies, and yet every time I look on the camera the sky seems to be red. I look out my window, the sky seems to be red. It doesn't matter what time of day it is, the sky is red, or it's got a tinge of red in it somewhere along the line. The sun rises, the sun sets, it's red. The moon rises, the moon sets, it's red. So it leads me to believe that we got a red object in the sky, and I've tried to show that many times in my videos. Yesterday I was talking about if you saw that big red spinning object in the sky, it would cause chaos. And I do believe it would be on social media, be on the news, be on the TV, and panic would set in and utter chaos. But we haven't seen it yet because it's a projected image. It's not a lens flare because lens flares go the opposite direction. So left goes right and right goes left. Let's click the video and have a look. And as you can see, the sun and sun simulators coming through the sky, and straight away this object appears. As soon as we get this object, we always get this milky sort of like white. It's part of, I do believe, the lensing system they're using to obscure, but in the way they've obscured it, it just makes it easier for us to see, because hey presto, this is not a lens flare, it is a projected image. And if we look very carefully, we've got 2 of them, so this actually proves that there's 2 lenses or whatever they're using. But something quite strange happens a little bit further on through this. We get the chemtrails, and you can see they're using a lensing system. Every time we get this sort of obfuscation of light that comes through, we got our sun simulator flying over, and the sun is behind it. I must add that you can see the chemtrails here. This is spinning as per normal, but I'm looking in the background, looking at the sky, and I'm thinking how red it is. Like I said, every time the sun sets, every time the sun rises, the moon sets, the moon rises, it is red. And this is no exception. We get this twinge of red up here, and you can see this is starting to distort, and you can see that this milky, whatever you like, follows this object. So we get to actually see the focal point of where it is, and just about here, this is about the focal point, just there. It runs all the way through and hits our lens. This object is still spinning. It starts to get brighter all of a sudden, and you can see that the lens system's there in place to obfuscate something behind it. And funny enough, we're going to actually see what it obfuscates, and you can see it just disappears. Let's have a look in the afternoon on a different camera. We're using Craig Southwest 215 degrees cameras. Same date on the camera, which is Wednesday 9th of August 2017. Trying to make a video, thank you very much, really appreciate it. And this is worth a watch. Can you answer the door, dear? There's somebody at the door. This is definitely worth a watch because, and I say the reason that it's just outrageous. This is not a lens flare, a projection that you're going to see. This is a proper object in our skies. But hey, it's for you to make your own minds up. Who am I to say? So let's have a look at the video, and what we'll do at the end is strip it down and analyse it and have a look at a couple of pictures which I think you might find quite interesting. We've got a blue sort of reddish sort of purpley sort of sky. Yep, chemtrail haze in the background which sort of like fluctuates through each picture. And let's have a look at the video and click through it. And as the time progresses, there you go, as the time progresses, you can see that that this is starting to fluctuate in the background. And what I've done, I've stuck some arrows here, and something manifests itself right in the centre, and we get our white object which appears about here. And I say white because just 2 minutes ago it was red. But if you watched Jeff P's channel last night and his video that he done, very good video, and he was talking about the infrared spectrum, how it washes out in white on the camera. So sometimes when we see something that's white, is it actually red, if you get what I mean? But yeah, that's for you to decide. And straight away what I've got to say is we get that milky white, whatever it might be, and you can see it appearing here, and that is a clear indication we're going to get this red planet or object that spins, which is a projection and not a lens flare. And you can see it appear just there. And yeah, is this maybe red instead of white? And is that white that is coming out like that because it's being infrareded? Well, not rightly too sure, but you can see this object is spinning. And if you just look here, oh look what we've got here. This looks like a cloaked object, but it doesn't appear, it gradually appears, unlike this thing that just pops into our screen. And yeah, we've got that milky sort of like substance here and substance there, which isn't a substance anyway, it's part of the lensing system. And we get to see the sun simulator or sun projecting images through a lensing system, and we get to actually see that just here, as you can see, as it goes through the sky. Here's our lens system just here, and here's our projected image, but I believe this to be a cloaked planet or object in the sky. That's for you to decide, and I believe this is red. As this is red, then this is red, and possibly this is red. Now is this? That's what you've got to ask yourself. I'm not really too sure. I'm just showing you that it shouldn't be on camera, that's for sure. And this object spins, and yeah, right, now you've got to ask yourself, what is what here? What is going on? That to me, is that possible that people can see this? Or is it just possible that the camera is just barely enough to pick it up? Is this a lens or is this a object? And I'm going to say planet object because of the way it acts. It just doesn't appear and just disappears. It takes a long time to appear and a long time to disappear. And you can see, yeah, well, it's for you to make your own minds up. That just disappears into the background, but if we stop that there, that object is still there, and it's starting to get brighter and brighter in the background. And yeah, even if we play with this picture, which is 1906-21, we'll most probably see that object. So let's pull it apart just on that picture. Right, let's have a play with this picture from 1906. The first thing I always use is GIMP. I'll stick it into GIMP, which is like a freeware program, and you can find it on the internet. It's just like PaintShop Pro, but it's free. Auto Equalize is exactly what I use, and that is automatic contrast enhancement, but it also brings up all the levels to the same level, so it brings out the picture. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. In this case, it's brought something out, and you can see that there's an object there. If we go to colours, brightness and contrast, and just adjust those and play with those a little bit and see what comes up, you can see that in the background there you've got something, yeah, just sort of like sticking out. If we actually invert this, that maybe give us a better picture. It's a little bit harder to see, but if we go back to brightness and contrast and play with the levels in there, we might be able to bring it out a little bit more. And there you go, that's exactly where it is. I'm still trying to make a video. Right, let's have a look at another picture. What I've done, I purposely chose this picture, 14:26 and 8 seconds, and the reason I chose this is because of this object here and what's happening to it. And looking at this, and we know this has got to be our sun simulator because we got the reflection. And what we're looking here is part of the lensing system being reflected back onto the lens of the camera, and inadvertently or by accident or whatever it might be, they've given us our own 3D show in the sky and there. And like I said, Jeff P was talking about the infrared being washed out in white. At any rate, the first thing, like I always say, I go to Auto Equalize and click on this, and something quite amazing happens. We get this red round here. So Jeff, I'm saying to you, you're spot on, brother. That's exactly what you're talking about, and that's exactly what's happening. It's turning it all white. We got this, which is part of the sun simulator and the sun. We got the reflection down here, which is very, very red. We've got this object here, which is sort of like reddy, sort of purple. We've got this object here, which is a projection. I believe this to be, well, yeah, for you to make your own minds up, but it's there in front of you. And you've got this, you can tell this is going through a lens system, the way it acts, and what happens to it in this picture here. We get that colour diffusion of light coming through it, and that tells me lens system. This is the picture from 1235, the one with the arrows on it, and if you look at this picture, it looks absolutely normal unless you look round and tilt the screen. First of all, what I'm going to do is equalise it, and there you go. If you look very, very carefully, you can actually see an outline just there. So what I'm going to do is then stick it in with brightness and contrast, and it just brings it out just that little bit more. It's still quite hard to see, so now what I'm going to do is invert it, and you can see it just stands out that little bit more, but it is there, it's in the background. And then if I do brightness and contrast, and just bring the brightness down and bring the contrast up, and if you just look just there, you can see the outline of this object. It is there in the sky. So it's there for quite some time before it actually appears and disappears. I'm asking myself, can this object be seen, or is the camera sensitive enough to pick this object up? Is this object, or these objects coming in, the cause of our bad weather? I believe they are. Are they the cause of our earthquakes? Oh yeah, most definitely, 100%. This is what I would expect to see if we got something incoming, but then again, it's for you to decide. I'm looking at 2 and 2 making 4. The threat of war is looming. This is what you've got to understand. Is this all a coincidence, or is this just the way the world's going? Much love, much peace, and I'll catch you next time. Take care.
Let me tell you why you're here. You're here because you know something. What you know you can't explain, but you feel it. You felt it your entire life. That there's something wrong with the world. You don't know what it is, but it's there, like a splinter in your mind, driving you mad. It is this feeling that has brought you to me. Do you know what I'm talking about? Do you want to know what it is? Remember, all I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.